Welcome to Ask Fear and Greed, where we take your questions and do our best to answer them. I'm Michael Thompson, and good afternoon, Sean Aylmer.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Sean, today's question has come from Lou on LinkedIn. Very alliterative. You can obviously send it in via LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, or head to our website, fearandgreed.com.au, if you've got a question to ask. And I think Lou has been inspired by last week's unemployment numbers coming in at a shock 3.9%. He says, "Hi, gents. This might be a stupid question." Lou, there are no stupid questions.
Never.
On this show. But can unemployment ever get close to 0%? Wouldn't that be classed as full employment, which is a term that we hear quite a bit? I would appreciate a simplified explanation if there is one. So, I mean, the first part of that question is a challenge. That last part, Sean, that's the real that is the real
a simplified
challenge.
Explanation.
Yeah.
It is a great question, Lou, because it makes sense what you're saying. However, it's kind of not how the economy works. There's a thing called frictional unemployment. People are always changing jobs. And even if there was a job for every single person, 100 people, 100 jobs, people would be jumping around because they'd be chasing higher pay. They'd want to do something different. I mean, there's always someone out there without a job because they're just shifting between jobs. That's called frictional unemployment. Then there's a thing called structural unemployment. Now, you never really get a total match in. Like a skilled worker demands a wage of $12. The business wants to give them $10. Maybe they agree at $11, but maybe the skilled worker says, no, I'll just keep looking around, thanks very much. Or maybe a business wants to pay less than the minimum wages. So might say, hey, I'll give you $12 an hour if you mow my lawn, and the minimum wage is $15. So they just don't agree. So this sort of structural unemployment kicks in. So when you've got frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, it kind of makes it impossible to actually get to zero because people are always changing jobs. The demand and supply never quite matches in terms of wage levels and stuff like that. Now, if you put them together, you're always going to have an unemployment rate. But this comes down to this concept of full employment, which Lou's talking about, or the natural rate of unemployment, or the non-accelerating inflationary rate of unemployment, otherwise known as NAIRU. They're all kind of the same thing. So the natural rate, the full employment rate, the NAIRU. It's the state of bliss for labour markets. Full employment, NAIRU, etc. It's basically where everyone who wants a job can pretty much get one, but there's not pressure on wages and hence inflation. If you look at the Australian economy right now, we talk about the NAIRU at 4.5% or full employment at 4.5%. We're at 3.9%. Therefore, it's less. You think, oh, that's good. It is good, but it probably puts pressure on wages because people can shop around and get more wages, and that puts pressure on inflation. So, but this is a really interesting concept, the NAIRU, because it's probably changed over the years. The knowledge economy has probably given a total shift to it. So, Michael, when early in the new year we decide that you're no longer for fear and greed, oh, did I say that out loud? Anyway, look, let's pretend. Let's pretend.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Yep. So far, I'm very heavily invested in this hypothetical scenario, Sean.
So that you earn, let's say you earn $100 a week. Now, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids, you're going to school. If you lost your job on Friday.
Yep. No. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just so specific.
A hypothetical date of Friday. All right. Yeah. Yep.
So if you did, what would you do? I would imagine, you'll immediately look for another job, but it's Christmas. It's time that you need money. You're in media, so you're probably not really going to get a job till February or March. If you don't have savings, you probably become an Uber driver or you do deliveries or stuff like that just to get some cash coming in. And so there's this big discussion in Australia now that the full employment rate, the natural rate, the NAIRU, Reserve Bank says 4.5%. It may actually be a lot less than that because people like you and me, if we lost our job, would actually become employed off our own bat because we couldn't have done that 10 years ago. So maybe NAIRU is 3%, 3.5%, not 4.5%. So, Lou, the upshot of all this, right, you might have thought that was a stupid question. I thought that was a cracking question because there's so much to it.
Okay. So the rise of like the gig economy and all of these creates more opportunities for more people to get the work. Like, and it might not be full-time work, but it might just be enough work to mean that they are not classified as unemployed.
So you and I, 4 or 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we both found ourselves looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started Fear and Greed. Now, we did that because you and I had some skill base. We had technology because we have a software platform that we can use. We could do it from home back then and start a job and kind of build an audience and, sell ads into it and do partnerships and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like 15 years ago, we probably couldn't have done that because there wasn't the software to do it. Like, you couldn't have.
So we would be out there looking for another formal job that would take us into an office working full time.
Yeah.
And for that, we might have had to wait 3 months or something to find that right job.
Some of us might have been a bit longer.
Yeah, indeed, especially when you're getting on a bit.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, indeed. There we go. That's the hypothetical situation that sees me losing my job on Friday.
The get back. Yeah.
Yep, indeed. I feel like we are even, and I feel like we have answered the question. That was a really good question. Thank you, Lou, for sending it in, and thank you, Sean, for answering it. And I would argue in a way that was simple. What did Lou want? He wanted a simplified explanation. I love the fact that you use me to simplify things.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Lou.
If you have your own question that you would like us to answer, you can send it on through via LinkedIn, as Lou did, or Instagram, Facebook, or fearandgreed.com.au, and we will pop it on the list. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is Ask Fear and Greed.